Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Richmond Olympic Oval for the International Wheelchair Rugby Canada Cup. My name is Kevin Olenek. Jess Kruger is here with me, and we're looking forward to a pretty exciting opening matchup between Australia and Great Britain. Jess, it's great to be here with you today.
Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. This is going to be an exciting game. We've got Australia, who's ranked as number 4 in the world right now, against GB, who is ranked at number 3. So I think we can expect to see a pretty close game here.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, a couple of really strong teams with a couple of really strong players. And for Australia, the first name that is always mentioned is Riley Batt.
Definitely. Riley has been with the team for many years. He's played in a lot of Paralympics, and he is definitely a dominant player on the floor there. So I think we're going to see a good game from him, and yeah, I'm excited to see what he's got.
And for Australia, who else should we be watching other than Riley Batt? Who's going to be a key for their team?
I mean, I think as all sports go, every player out there is going to play a key role on it. Riley is, a more physical athlete, so he's going to carry the ball more, but you're going to see players alongside him really helping him move that ball along the floor. So in rugby, you've got those defensive players in the low point chairs. Those are the chairs with the pick sticking out the front of them, and those athletes are going to really play an important role in allowing Riley to get the ball and keep the floor sort of clear for him so he can move it along. So, yeah.
And for Great Britain, they're bringing in a younger team, but they do have a veteran on this team named Gavin Walker.
Yeah, exactly. Gavin has been around with the team for quite a while, and I see Ayaz Bouta is out there right now. He's played in a couple of Paralympics as well, alongside Kylie Grimes there, the .5 as well. So, yeah, they have a few players that have been playing on the team for quite a few years, so a lot of smarts on the floor there, and, yeah, excited to see them in action.
Yeah, as they get themselves ready here, we are just about to get started as it's Riley Batt that will take the draw here against Britain. And the ball is loose, so Australia will grab it first, and that's Batt. Takes a bump, tosses it up to there as Australia takes control, surrounded by a couple of Great Britain players, as that's Edmondson. Edmondson passes it back to Batt. Batt and Edmondson working their magic. Batt goes in, just stopped nicely there by a couple of Great Britain players. Batt again with it. He's being challenged, and 10 seconds to go with possession. Batt tosses it back to Edmondson, and he'll score the first point of this tournament. And Australia opens the scoring with the 1-0 lead. Tough play at the start there, Jess, for Australia.
Yeah, that tip is always a big sort of game changer. You won't really want to fight for that first point on the floor there.
As Great Britain is responding, a nice toss over as the Great Britain gets their first point. Stuart Robertson with the goal. 1-1 as we're in our first opening minute here. Australia taking it up here. That's Edmondson. Edmondson coming in, bounces it over the line, continues on. Passes it back to Batt. Batt and Edmondson seem to have some chemistry so far in this game, Jess.
Yeah, they seem really comfortable playing with one another. At this level of sport, you're not going to see them making too many mistakes. They're keeping their passes clean. They're moving the ball up the court pretty quickly, and they're kind of playing 1-for-1 here, as we sort of expected to see.
As Great Britain scores again, Stuart Robertson gets his second, and we are tied at 2. Australia starts again, as that's Andrew Harrison observing the scene. Passes that up to Edmondson. Edmondson to Batt. Batt looks around. He races in and scores. And Australia is up 3-2. And this is a captain obvious question. Here's I'm about to ask. Here's Robinson's about to get his third, tie at 3. How important is it to get the first win in this tournament?
I mean, I think it just sets the tone for the entire tournament, right, if they evenly. So to take that first win is definitely going to carry them through the rest of the tournament with that edge.
Yep. As Batt's going in here.
So you can see this is a bit of a different play than they've been running, right? The Australia team is running against the key. Great Britain has set up in the key there, and they're playing a bit of a different defense on them.
As Great Britain comes up here, that is Gavin Walker gets it to Robinson, and they tie the game at 4. And a stoppage and play.
So Riley Bat just called equipment. Something's going on with his chair or his equipment. It looks like he's got a flat tire. So whenever the team has possession, they can call equipment at any point, and then somebody on the sideline will run out and fix whatever's going on with their chair equipment. And then the ball will stay in their possession.
So Australia starting there as that's Harrison to Bat. Bat will score easily here. And Australia takes the lead. The challenge for Great Britain is trying to stop Australia and get control of the game and get themselves to their first lead of the game here.
Yeah, exactly. Australia just has so much speed on their team with Bat that it's a pretty tough matchup for them. So the fact that they're going to keep it close throughout is a good start to the game.
As half scores, we're tied at 5. As here comes Australia, as that's Edmondson. Edmondson, nice with a stoppage and play. And our first penalty first stoppage and play to Great Britain. Here is Bat.
Yeah, so Bat has been knocked down. He's on the ground. There's going to be a stop and play there. They're going to pull him back up, and it looks like it's going to be GB possession off of that.
So GB with the ball. Here they come. That's Gavin Walker again. Passes it back to Badja. Ajaz Badja, veteran with the team. Calmly passes that off as Robinson finding a way to get that back to and scoring, and Great Britain gets their first lead of the game, 6-5. Here's Bat with it. He gains his way through and bounces and scores, and Australia ties the game. Ref blows the whistle.
Looks like he's calling a contact before the whistle there.
So first substitution as Andrew Harrison off, and on is Josh Nicholson. As Walker. And Robinson comes away. Robinson bounces the ball, and he's going to try to take that in himself, and does, and Great Britain has the 7-6 lead. Edmondson to Bat. Bat around, bounces, and he's going to be able to take that in himself, and it's tied at 7. So we're approaching halfway through the first quarter. Great Britain. There's Badja coming up. Badja reading the play, sends that over to Robinson. Robinson coming in down the right. Nice pass to Badja, and he'll score. (8-7) GB. As Australia's Bat comes up. Watched by 2 Great Britain players. Passes that up, and there's Edmondson, and he will score. And we're tied now at 8. Stoppage and play.
You can see Ayaz Bouta calling inbounder there. He's gotten himself into a position on the court where he feels like he might be in a bad spot to get that inbound in. So the player will call inbounder there so he can come inbound the ball, and that way they can set up in better position for that inbound.
As Bouta with the ball to Walker. Walker, watched by Bat, stoppage and play. So
that was a contact call on number 3, Riley Bat from Australia. So So he's going to sit in the penalty box for a play until GB scores here.
So 4-on-3 now for GB. Bata coming in to Robinson. Robinson will bounce and score that easily.
So you can see he sort of took his time to score that goal, allowing his other teammates there to set up on Riley Batt in the key. So they forced Riley to take that inbound. Taking his speed off the court is giving them an advantage.
And now Batt adjusting. We see now Robinson stops him. Batt bounces the ball, tries again, makes the move, and will score, and we're tied at 9. You know, watching Riley Batt on TV and live, it's a much different to see the overall scheme of how to stop a player with that caliber of Riley Batt as Great Britain takes a 10-9 lead.
Yeah, you can really appreciate the physicality that he brings to the floor.
Here's Batt again, takes it in, and Batt ties the game again at 10. Gavin Walker to Bata. Nice pass up to Walker, and he will score. And it's 11-10 for GB.
So you can see GB is putting 3 of their players on Riley. They've identified that he's going to be the most dominant player for Team Australia, and they're just trying to pull him out of that play, at least until the ball is in.
As Batt finds a way to score again, and we are tied 11. We have a player down.
So you notice that time the game didn't actually pause when the player fell on the ground. He wasn't in danger of getting hit by somebody, so they'll allow the play to keep running until Australia scores in that instance, whereas last time they called that whistle because he was in sort of the active play area.
So it's referee discretion for a lot of that.
Exactly, yeah.
As Great Britain brings that in. Buddha, move it in. Robinson, watched by 2 Australians, gets it to Gavin Walker, and he will score. 12-11, GB. As Edmondson to Batt. Great GB putting on tougher pressure, but Edmondson wide open is able to score, and we're tied at 12.
So once again, number 4 looking to try and get better position there on that inbound.
Walker takes it up. Stop there, pass it to Buddha, Ajaz Buddha to Robinson, and Great Britain gets the 13-12 lead. Australia, as Edmondson takes that up, gives it to Batt. And Batt will score that easily. And we are tied at 13.
So as this quarter is coming to a close, you're going to see these teams playing a little bit more strategically. They're going to look to try and score the goal with enough time so that they can get the last goal of this quarter as well. So there's 40 seconds in a shot clock. They are going to run that down so that they can score, knowing that they'll turn it over and that Australia will not necessarily have enough time to play that last goal play as well.
As they'll score there. Asia scores 14-13. Yeah, so far the thing you're noticing here is the scores are quite quick in the 40-second possessions. Usually within the first 10 seconds, someone is scoring. As Edmondson takes it in. Stopped by 4 Great Britain players there. They get it to Batt. Batt. This one The shot clock is taking a little bit longer, but Bat, undeterred, will score and tie the game at 14.
So I think we're going to see GB looking to score this goal somewhere around the 55-second mark. That's going to allow them enough time for Australia to use their full 40 and then still have the opportunity to score that last goal.
We have a stoppage in play.
The referee called a timeout, but the athlete is saying he did not call that timeout. So a little bit of a miscommunication there. Either way, GB is going to take that timeout. They'll maintain possession.
And how many timeouts per team?
So each team will get 4 timeouts for the entire game, and then if they went into overtime, they would get more timeouts for the overtime as well.
So Great Britain will inbound this. Walker passes that up, and the veteran, Bata, will take that in. Stop, but scores it. We have 53.4 seconds in the quarter. So, as Jess mentioned, we'll see how Australia plays this.
So GB is going to really pressure Australia. They want them to use their full 40 seconds there because that way they have the perfect amount of time left to score that last goal, whereas Australia is pushing to score fast.
And Australia does score there, so tied at 15. We have 41.2 seconds to go with a 40-second possession clock.
So I think we're going to see GB trying to run that clock out here. They don't want to leave Australia with enough time to get possession and score again. That would be my guess, but let's see how they play it.
GB going in. Robinson takes it back. He's taking his time. We've got a stoppage in play.
So there was another equipment call there. Looks like number 14 from Australia. So Andrew Edmondson's got a flat tire. They're going to switch it out.
Now, for those with basketball, the play possession happens and stoppage, and the ball is in the air, it still counts. Is that the same in wheelchair rugby, or is that a bit of a different play a stop, play stops?
Yeah, it's more of a play stop with wheelchair rugby.
Knocked away there, and that ball will go out of bounds over towards.
So that was tipped off by Australia there. So GB is going to get possession here. They've got 9 seconds left on the clock to try and score that last goal.
And they come. Bata goes in. And he'll score with 2.6 seconds to go. So Great Britain will take the 16-15 lead.
So you see GB's getting back to their goal. That 2 seconds is not an impossible amount of time for them to score in. This clock doesn't start until someone touches the ball. So if Riley, throws it deep.
And you saw Australia had Andrew Edmondson down at that far end. So 1 quarter down, Great Britain leading 16-15. We have a 2-minute break. Just give us your thoughts on what you saw here in the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of as expected. It's a super close game. You see them sort of taking goal for goal. You're not really seeing any mistakes happening. At this level of sport, the game moves quickly, the passes are clean, and you've got those dominant athletes, those high pointers on the floor that are really keeping things moving.
So 16-15, as we, of course, just want to thank some of our sponsors to this great event. We have Sheridan Vancouver Airport, the Hilton Vancouver Airport, Marriott Vancouver Airport, as well as World Wheelchair Rugby as well. So we got the 16-15. You mentioned no mistakes. Do you expect any adjustments? Do you see anybody making any adjustments as this quarter goes on?
I think we can probably expect to see a similar lineup coming back out on the floor as we go into the second quarter here. Those lines are playing really well. They're well matched up in terms of how they're actually setting their lines up. They have similar classification levels. So wheelchair rugby has a classification system. Each athlete is given a point value depending on the amount of function that they have, and then each team is allowed 8 points on the floor at a time. So 4 players have to add up to 8 points. If there's a female on the court, you are allowed an additional 0.5 for your team. So you saw Kylie Grimes over there playing for GB. Their team was allowed 8.5 points while she was on the court there. And yeah, just because those classification matchups are working so well for them right now, it'll be interesting to see if they're going to switch things up or keep it as it is.
Get ourselves ready here for quarter number 2. So Australia will inbound. That looks like a couple of new players on the court here for Australia. Jaden Warren will be on the court. And for Great Britain, we're seeing Kieran Flynn inbound that into Robinson as we're underway here in the second quarter. Glad you're with us here at the Richmond Olympic Oval. My name is Kevin Olenek, Jess Kruger with me, providing the insight as Robinson will try to take this in, stopped by Bat. Robinson tosses that up and scores. A nice pass by Robinson to Flynn. And Great Britain's up now by 2, 17-15. Here's Bat watching around.
You can see Australia 23 there trying to get on the court after inbounding it. He's looking at the ref frustrated because he thinks that the other player hasn't allowed him to get on the court there.
So as Great Britain or Australia scored there, 17-16. Here comes Gavin Walker taking that in. And nice pass again to Robinson. 18-16. With a 2-point lead GB has now as Bat will go in and score. Do you anticipate the team trailing, in this case Australia, being a little bit more aggressive, or do you change your game plan at this point? Or
Yeah, so Australia has switched their lineup for this quarter. So they're playing a high-low lineup right now. They've got 2 of the more dominant functional athletes on the floor. So Riley Bat's a 3-5, and then we've got number 23, Jaden Warren, as a 3. And then their other 2 players are a class 1 and a 0.5. So those are lower classified athletes. They have less function than those high pointers. So they have sort of switched their game plan there, trying to make the matchups a little bit different for GB.
As Warren has that now. Warren bounces. Watched by Robinson, gets it to Bat. Bat moves in. Takes the bump from Robinson. And Bat will score, and it's 19-18. Flynn with the coming up now. Flynn, nice pass up to Robinson. Calm and collective, and scores. And there was some communication on the Australian side there. So that's Bat. Watched by Walker. He'll try the other way. Here comes Bat. Bounces that in. Out there with Warren. Bat will take his time, turn that in, pass it to Warren. Warren will score. And 20-19 for GB. Australia putting the pressure on here. Pass to Robinson. Robinson bumped, and a nice pass to Flynn, but Bat gets back rather quickly. Flynn will pass that to Robinson. And 21-19 for Great Britain. Pass up to Bat.
You see how Australia was setting up a little bit higher on the court there for that inbound. They're trying to get the ball in as high up on that court as they possibly can, so they have that advantage. They're less distance to travel once they do get that ball in.
As Warren scores, 21-20. As Flynn brings that in, and it's 22-20. Seen a bit more of an attempt to throw longer passes now at this point in the game from both teams.
Yeah, whenever the team can set up that deep pass, that's an easy play for them. You don't have the pressure of that 12 seconds to get over half there. So if they can dish it over that half court line easily like that, then they're definitely going to take the opportunity when they can.
As Walker scores, and we're at 23-21. Australia will be making a substitution here.
Looks like they're going to bring in Shea Graham and Andrew Edmondson here. So substitutions can only happen at a whistle, so they're going to either sit and wait until there's some sort of a turnover or a stop in play. A goal doesn't count for subs, or maybe they'll call a bench timeout to allow the substitution to happen.
As Warren scores, 23-22. So yet don't see anything on the Great Britain side in terms of subs, so they look happy with their lineup as Flynn goes in.
Ooh.
Pass to Robinson, and he'll score.
So you saw they were really pressuring number 11 there at the half court. There's a over and back rule in wheelchair rugby, so if you cross over that half line and then get knocked back over it, it's a turnover for the other team. They were pressuring to try and make that happen there, but didn't quite get it.
As Jake Howe scores, 24-23. And Batten. Flynn hit hard. Robinson gets it to Flynn, and he'll score. (25-23) Australia. Howe's coming back to inbound the ball. Pass to Warren. Warren to Bat. This is the ball. Great Britain will take that over. We have a stoppage in play.
So that Riley took that opportunity to call that equipment. He knew he was getting a little bit later in the clock. Again, they only have 12 seconds to get that ball over the half line. Unfortunately, he got a flat tire right at that moment, so it gives them an opportunity to sort of reset. They don't get a new shot clock, so they still only have 33 seconds on the shot clock, but they do get that new 12 to get the ball over half now. So that was good timing on the flat tire.
So this would be a time that Australia could sub if they wanted to. Yeah.
No, not on equipment, sorry.
Oh, not on equipment, okay. No.
So it's only going to be a change in possession whistle or a timeout.
As that's Bat going in, and nice pass to Warren. And
so again, that extra time GB was able to set up in the key there and forced Australia to run a play on them. Fortunately, these are experienced athletes, so running a play against that key isn't much of an issue for them. They did it pretty flawlessly.
And we're able to score, and now Australia move it up as...
Once again, GB dropping back into that key, looking to set up, forcing Australia to run a play here. Riley Bat's able to sneak in that corner.
As 26-25. And yeah, certainly the first half of the quarter has a bit more of a one strategy as opposed to the second half of the quarter, as Robinson will score. Warren. Bound that to Bat. Bat sees Walker.
He's got that deep pass as an option there. Yeah.
And there it goes to Jake Howe. He nice and confidently will take that in. And it's 27-26.
Ooh.
And a turnover. Bat will score. And just like that, Australia ties the game at 27.
Again, I think that's the first turnover we've seen in this game so far. So at this level of sport, not many mistakes being made there.
No, you're right. That was the first turnover. And GB has the lead, though, again, 28-27. Ball in play, 2:45 to go in the half. Here's Warren looking around. Warren moving it in. Warren showing patience. Bounces it, looking around, has communicating with Howell there. Gets it over to Bat. 20 seconds to go on the play clock.
60.
Might hear Australia counting down. As a nice play by Robinson to keep that inbound. Bat takes it in and they'll score.
Scored it with 2 seconds left on that 40-second shot clock. So you saw they were getting a little bit stressed out as the clock was counting down there. The ball almost went out on that sideline, but they managed to sneak it in with 2 seconds left there.
As Walker looks around and he'll score. 2:01 to go. Shot clock will come into play now, I would imagine, here.
Yeah.
How will take it in.
So again, GB set up in the key. This is a different strategy than they had in that first quarter there. So they're looking to try and capitalize on some mistakes as they attack this key.
Bat takes it in. And 29-29.
So Benjamin Fawcett there sealing that corner for Bat, allowing him to slide in behind him and score that goal pretty seamlessly.
Here comes Walker. Walker's going in. And 30, now minute 33 to go. See how Australia plays this. GB a bit more aggressive, much more aggressive on this one as Bat takes it in. Racing after it, passes that nicely to Warren and he'll score. And we're tied at 30. And now Australia being the aggressors this time. 2 on Robertson, that's Bat and Warren. The nice pass up to Gavin Walker. Walker.
Again, he's turning back, he's looking at that clock. They want to score around 55 seconds so that they set themselves up for that last goal. So even though he easily could have scored that goal, he decided to turn back and set them up better time-wise.
There we go, 53.3, and with the score from Flynn.
You're going to see GB really pressing on this defense here, trying to make Australia use as much of this 40-second shot clock as they can so that they set themselves up for that last goal.
As Warren goes in. Pass up to Bat, doesn't quite work. Gets it. 35 seconds to go.
So we hear Australia on the sidelines here talking about using the timeout. So they're going to run this clock down until they have 15 seconds or less left, and then they'll call the timeout and they'll get a new 40-second shot clock. So they will maintain possession and it'll give them the opportunity to score that last goal.
As that timeout is called for Australia.
15 seconds left on the game clock. They'll get a new 15 on their shot clock, so they've set themselves up perfectly to score this last goal here. Once again, GB back in the key, looking to try and put a big stop to this last goal.
As Bat passes it to Warren, he'll score. 7.1 seconds left.
So that's enough time for GB to get another goal here. You're going to see a hard press from Australia on this defense trying to stop that ball.
Here they come, Robinson, and into a good effort by Bat, and he'll score 0.6 to go.
That's a great play by GB. They set that up perfectly, allowing them to get that last goal. giving them that 1-point lead as they move into the third quarter.
So 32-31 here, halftime. We got a 5-minute break. As pretty good game, but two strong teams.
Yeah, so we never saw those substitutions happening for the Australia team. They were sitting in the box waiting for that whistle to blow, but it never happened. Again, very few mistakes happening at this level. So it'll be interesting to see if that line is going to start us off in the third here.
Yeah, didn't see any substitution attempts on Great Britain's side from looking at their bench down to the left of us. Having the lead, a strong game for both teams here, and a good way to start this tournament. It goes on until championship games on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. I think GB is feeling pretty confident in their play so far. They're keeping that point or couple point lead throughout, so I don't know if they're going to be looking to make too many substitutions. The lines that they're running have been working well for them and playing strongly, so it's great to see.
As we just want to take another opportunity to thank BC Wheelchair Sports, Local 258 of IBEW, as well as Vesco Wheelchairs and the Richmond Olympic Oval for their support throughout this tournament. As our next game will have Team Canada in action. They will be taking on France. That's at 1:30 Pacific time. And then Denmark will be playing Japan, France, and Great Britain. And then Canada ends the day against Australia. Of those matchups, Jess, what were we looking forward to from those four matchups?
Oh boy. I think that the rest of these games here, it's not going to necessarily be as close. The rankings on those other teams aren't as evenly matched as these two are here. So it'll be interesting to see what they're bringing. Obviously, I'm excited to see Canada playing against France and then finishing the day off against Australia as well. That should be a really good game to watch too. But yeah, lots of good rugby scheduled for the day.
Yeah, exciting opening day. We'll have Colin Emberson, Jeremy Hannaford, Joel Ewart, and Abin Frost will also be joining us throughout the day. You'll be hearing their voices as well. As far as for Canada, though, obviously we're Canadian. What are you looking forward for them as in this tournament?
I mean, without any bias, of course, I'm always excited to see the guys on the field. I play wheelchair rugby myself for the BC provincial team, so I have had the opportunity to play with some of those Canadian athletes, and it's always great to see their hard work paying off. And at this level of tournament, it's a big stage to get up onto, and they'll hopefully have some newer athletes on the floor as well, see how they're doing and how they've grown. It'll be some interesting rugby to see.
Yeah.
So now's maybe a good time to talk about the different types of chairs that you guys have been seeing out there. If you're new to wheelchair rugby and you haven't seen the sport before, you might have noticed that there's a couple of different types of wheelchairs that the athletes are actually using. You can sort of see GB warming up over on the side there. So when we get a peek of the different chairs, I can try and point them out. But
yeah, that'd be great.
You're seeing either a defensive or an offensive wheelchair. So looking at Team Australia there, those chairs with the picks out the front, those are the defensive chairs, and typically those athletes will be the lower classified athletes, so maybe a 1.5 or lower. Their job is going to be more to help the higher classified athletes move down the court to play more of a defensive role and allow that clear pathway for them. Whereas those offensive chairs, you can't necessarily see them as well right now, but they're the ones with that smooth front. They don't have that pick bar out the front, and those are typically going to be used by the higher classified athletes, the ones that are carrying the ball. They don't want pieces of their chairs to be easily caught, so having that pick bar makes it easier to be stopped, whereas the person carrying the ball is going to have that offensive chair. They've got that smooth front, rounded edge, easier to sort of slide past other athletes on the floor.
So I could see that with a Gavin Walker. He has and Stuart Robinson, they have the picks. That's as they'll switch sides here. Great Britain will go from right to left on your screen. Australia from left to right.
Yeah, so we see Gavin Walker has that offensive chair, so he doesn't have that pick bar out the front. He's a higher classified athlete, being a two-pointer there, so he's got one of those offensive chairs without the pick bar.
Here we go. We're underway here in the second half. Quarter 3, 32-31. GB leading Australia. Riley Batdo takes it in, and we've got our first score of the second half, tied at 32. Walker directing traffic.
So we did see those substitutions happening for Team Australia. We've got Faye on the court there, and Riley Batt stayed out, of course. And then we've also got Michael Ozan out there too. So those two are new to the floor.
And for Great Britain, there was a couple of substitutions, as well as Kylie Grimes is back on the floor, as well as Ayaz Buta.
So wheelchair rugby is a co-ed sport. It means that men and women play on the same team. There are just not as many women playing the game, but we see 2 females representing here, which is really cool to see for me being a female athlete myself.
It's great to see for sure, as Batten has a ball. As Australia's just blocked out and allowed Batt to score, and we're tied at 33. The opening minute here of the second half. Robinson takes that up. Stopped nicely by Batt, and another stop there, but Robinson undaunted. Nice again. Robinson will score, but Graham and Australia put on the pressure there, as Graham will inbound.
Ayaz having an equipment here, so just a pause and play while they adjust his strapping there.
Inbounding. Graham over to Edmondson, pass to Batt, and he'll score, and we're tied at 34. Here comes GB Robinson. So Australia, for the first time in this game, is playing in more of a defensive posture.
Now they've fallen back in that key, and they're going to see how their defense matches up against GB here. There you go, yeah.
And
that tipped off of Australia off of Faye's hand there, so GB will keep possession. But again, just sort of breaking their concentration, maybe throwing GB off their game a little bit by changing the pace of the game with that defensive key setup.
Inbounded, Robinson moves to his right, takes it in, and scores.
So you saw there was 14 seconds left on that 40-second shot clock. When they're running those key plays, they are looking to sort of run that clock down and add more pressure as the clock sort of has less time there. So when they're not putting that key defense up, you're seeing them score a lot faster. The ball moves quicker, and there's less pressure given from that 40-second shot clock.
As and I imagine there are going to be teams that are going to be using that strategy a little bit more during this tournament that we'll be seeing than others. Certainly Australia looks like, and these two teams look like a more of an aggressive team, but I imagine we'll see some teams with a more of a defensive posture in this tournament.
For sure, when the speed matchups are less even, you're definitely going to see them playing more of that key defense, because they can't necessarily compete one-on-one in terms of speed for some teams, so you'll see more of that then. And you might see it when the teams are less evenly matched. A team might play that key defense to sort of give the other team an opportunity to get over half, rather than just, catching them on those 12 seconds if the matchup is not as even as these two teams are.
As GB inbounds this in, Robinson will bounce it, takes it to his left, bounce again.
Yeah, so we haven't seen too many dribbles because the game moves so fast here, but the players have to either pass or dribble every 10 seconds. So that's kind of the first time we've really clocked that happening, because they are passing or moving so quickly here that there hasn't been many opportunities where they've even needed to dribble. But yeah, he got that dribble in there. We saw it.
Yep. Nice long pass, and Graham will take that and score. 36-35. Robinson moves to his right. Pass to Ajaz. Stop.
So that's a reach on number 14 there. So Andrew Edmondson got his arm on Ayaz Buta there. He's going to be in the box. It'll be a turnover. Not a turnover, sorry. GB will keep possession there.
Walker will inbound. Pass to Robinson. Robinson takes it in.
So Australia is going to let them just score that goal easily. They don't want any more penalties in that instance, because that will keep the first athlete in the box for longer. So it's definitely a disadvantage to take 2 penalties back to back.
So in those situations, you want the team, when you're shorthanded, you want the team to score as quickly as possible so you can get back to use a hockey term, even strength.
Exactly, yeah.
As Australia scores there, 37-36. Harrison scoring. Walker gets it to Ajaz Buda. Walker. That's a nice little setup there to Walker to Robinson. And a good stop there by Graham.
So yeah, Faye West there. She got her pick in, and
sorry about that.
Big stop.
I think I called, my apologies. I think I called her Graham twice in this sequence, so my apologies there. As Bat scores, 38-37, approaching the halfway mark of the third quarter. It's Robinson coming up now. Robinson does the pounce of the 10 seconds, passes that to Walker. He'll score easily. And 39-37.
Kevin, I'm just looking. You were right. It's Shea Graham. Sorry, I was looking up at team GB there. So now it's my turn to apologize. Shea Graham, the number 12 for Australia that just did the inbound there.
Yeah. So this is an interesting, as GB scores, Bat is down.
So they allowed GB to keep the ball there. They had the turnover and scored it. Now it's going to be Australian possession, and GB's set up over in the key, ready for that big defense.
So GB now up by 3, 40-37. Bat takes it in. Bat. So an interesting strategy also with Australia is knowing the strength and speed that Riley Bat brings. They allow almost a block play to make sure that Bat is able to score, as Gavin Walker scores there, 40-38. 41-38, sorry. Now we're all mixed up.
All right, so Shea Graham on the inbound there. She's got that one in.
Edmonds back to Bat. Bat moves to his left. And then watched by Bat. And Bat stopped by Robinson. And we have a stop.
Riley Bat called the timeout there, so he was pushing to get that corner goal. He noticed that he wasn't going to be able to sneak it in there without hitting the cone, and then it would have been a turnover, so he called that timeout before he knocked that cone and turned the ball over. That way Australia will keep possession. GB setting up on the key again here. Going to look to try and put a big stop. Now that GB's got that extra 3-point edge here, I think they're feeling a little bit more confident. They think they might have shaken Australia's confidence here, so we'll see Australia trying to regroup over on the side, having a bit of a pep talk, and see them come back in with a new line.
Looks like we have heard a sub call.
Yeah, so it looks like Edmondson and Bat are going to stay on, but they've got Michael Ozan and Andrew Harrison joining them now.
Bat going and takes it to his right, does his dribble, stopped by Walker. Bat passes that, and great job by Bat to knock that away, but Australia still has it. That's going in there is Edmondson. The Bat, and
they scored it with 2 seconds.
It's 2 seconds to go. 41-39 for GB. They'll take the ball up. Nice pass up to Gavin Walker, and he'll take that in. He looks at the clock, sees 30 seconds to go, moves it in. GB regains their 3-point lead. Here's Bat again. GB putting pressure on Robinson. On him, Ajaz on them as well. Here's Bat again. Takes it down the left. And he's got 2 options. He decides to take that in, and it's 42-40. Gavin Walker will inbound that in. As again, we'll probably see as we head in the final 2 minutes a change in approach here in terms of using the shot clock as Walker takes that in, 43-40. As Harrison inbounds it to Bat. Bat directing teammates, sets up a play. Bat walking around, tries to get in on the left. Good stop by GB there. Bat tries his left again, moves back. We've got 17 seconds on the shot clock. Bat will try to go in. He's stopped again. Strong defense by GB. Bat will try on the left, and he does get it in. 8 seconds to go on the clock there. So now we have a minute 34, 43-41. This is where GB will take their time, or no,
I think they're going to score it fast on this one, yeah. They know that they can't force Australia to use that full 40 seconds here, so they're not worried about, playing that clock quite as aggressively right now. But Australia is going to look to use the clock to their advantage this time. Try and score around 50, 55.
Right.
Give them enough time. We've seen a strong key defense from GB, though, so it'll be interesting to see if Australia is able to run this and score it kind of with the timing that they're aiming for.
So it's a minute to go. Bat in, looking around, find his left, and he will score. 54.6 to go.
So now GB will try and score super fast if they can, leave themselves more time even with that 40 shot clock.
There's a long pass to there. Back to Robinson. Zajaz, Buddha and Robinson. The other Robinson, 25 seconds on the clock. Watched by 2 Australians. Pass it to Buddha. Buddha back to Robinson. Robinson takes it in. Pass to Buddha. 13 seconds on the clock. Buddha dribbles. 10 seconds on the clock. Taking it back. 20 seconds to go in the quarter.
Looks like they're going to call that timeout again, use that same strategy that was used in the last quarter.
Right, Australia used that, yes. So 14.5 seconds to go. Great Britain calls their second timeout.
They're going to make a substitution here as well for... Oh, looks like the refs didn't hear the call for sub before the play started, so they won't be able to make that sub.
There we go, as Robinson is stopped 5 seconds ago. He does dribble. He will score 44 45-42, 3.1 seconds ago. This is the where you see a possible long pass. And inbounded. Bat high gets it. Nice job. Pass up, and it does. Fortunately, doesn't score. 0.5 seconds ago, Edmondson just couldn't possess that in.
That was a great play by Bat there. They didn't get the ball till 3/4 of the way down the court. Still had 3 seconds to make that pass, but sadly couldn't quite sneak that one in.
So again, for those that are new, you make sure to understand that you have to have both hands on the ball and possess it to go across the line.
Yeah, you have to have full possession of the ball. So we haven't necessarily seen it happening, but you can pick the ball up on your wheel. And if you were to cross over half with possession of the ball on your wheel, so not necessarily both hands, that would still be a goal. It just, the referee needs to see that you have control over the ball.
So 3/4 down, 45-42 Great Britain, as they're up by 3. And I guess in the 4th quarter here, when you have a 3-point lead, are you more going into a defensive posture, or are you keeping the games the same, or how do you approach that?
I think we're going to see GB keeping the pressure on. They want to make that spread as big as they possibly can. They're coming in with a little bit more confidence. So, yeah, I don't expect to see them, taking a step back or being solely defensive. I think we're going to see them really applying the pressure here in that 4th quarter as well and trying to spread that gap.
Do you see Australia being more aggressive
For
as
sure.
well?
For sure. I'm sure Australia is going to come in here fired up, looking to try and close that gap at this level of sport. 3 points can be a big gap to fill, but we'll see if we see some more penalties happening here as the athletes get a little more fired up, a little more aggressive. We might see that happening as well.
And again, we want to thank sponsors that are supporting all of the Canada Cup International Wheelchair Rugby Tournament with Government of Canada, the Government of BC, Richmond Sport Housing, Moulton, and of course the Richmond Olympic Oval. As of course will be our next action here. Canada will be in action here at 1:30 Pacific. Canada will be playing France in their opening game. And then we'll have Denmark versus Japan at 3:30, and then at 5:30 France versus Great Britain, and then Canada versus Australia ends the day.
Looks like GB is going to put out Stuart Robinson, Gavin Walker, Jack Smith, and Kieran Flynn to start off this 4th quarter. Australia's got Bat out again. They've got Jaden Warren, number 8 Benjamin Fawcett, and number 4 Jake Howe.
As here we go, Flynn will score the opening points of the quarter here, point of the quarter, 46-42.
So again, because GB got that last goal in the previous quarter, they had possession to start this quarter off. Now they've got that 4-point lead temporarily here.
As Bat scores 46-43. Both teams have 2 timeouts left. Do you anticipate that the timeouts would be, for Australia, you'll probably want to wait as long as possible to use those final 2 timeouts near the end of the quarter, I would think?
Yeah, for sure. You'll see Australia probably trying to save at least one of them for that last goal if it winds up being a 1-point game.
But Robinson, he takes that in, 47-43. Warren.
You see Bat trying to get into a position to take that inbound.
There he is. He has it now. The long pass bouncing up. And this will be Jake Howe's ball. Howe. Flynn did a good job getting back, but Howe scores. It's 47-44. GB. Robinson.
Riley looking for that reach on the ball. A bit more of an aggressive play.
Now the reach part, in terms of contact, your hand has to touch the ball. If it touches the body, and you can, that is a penalty. Is that correct?
Exactly. So when they're reaching for that ball and they're just trying to touch the ball with their hand, they're looking to get a jump ball. At the ref's discretion, if they look like they have possession of that ball just with their hand on the other player's lap, that can be called a jump ball, and it would be a turnover there.
So Australia scores. Flynn inbounds that to Walker, to Robinson. Robinson moves quickly up And he'll have room, score easily, 49-45.
So Australia's number 23 there stopped their low pointer from getting back down to play defense on them. So because they kept that player out of the game, they forced them to play this defensive key play that they've got set up here. So that was a strategic play by him there.
As Warren scores, 49-46. To Robinson, back to Flynn, a Walker, and again Walker scores easily. So Australia putting more pressure on the inbound in this quarter, trying to cut this lead down. Warren with the ball to Bat looks to his right. Nice toss up to Howe, if Howe can reach that. Hustle Robinson. Robinson got his hand in the way there, really on play, and great GB will take that over. Flynn with the ball. Flynn to Walker, and he'll score easily, and now it's a 5-point lead, largest lead that GB has had. As we're approaching the 2-minute mark here of the quarter. Warren tosses it up, and Flynn.
It's going to maintain Australian possession there. Just went off the tip of a GB player's hand, so Australia will keep the possession.
Australia inbounds. That's Flynn to Bat. Bat moves to his left. Looks like Australia's preparing for some substitutions as Warren scores. Don't see anything on the Great Britain side as of yet. We'll have as Walker stopped by Bat. Walker gets the ball back. And he gets that into there, and Robinson will score. And 52-47. GB leading. Warren taking it up on the right. Long pass to Bat. Bat will get it nicely, calmly. After that, leads down to 4. Flynn. To Walker. Walker moves to his right. Pass up to Flynn. Flynn chases after it, gets it, and he'll score, and it's 53-48. Jake Howe. Bat. Surrounded by 3 Great Britain players, but finds his way around, gets into the zone, passes that to Warren, and Warren will score. 53-49. And
so Australia is calling a bench timeout over here. They want to make that substitution. They're not going to wait for a whistle to naturally happen. So they are sending in Andrew Edmonston, and for the first time we're going to see Justin Go out there on the court.
And Great Britain looks like they've made a substitution, as well as it looks like number 9, Ollie Mannion has made, my apologies, has made his first appearance in the game. As well as number 5, Jack Smith.
So we've got just under 5 minutes left in the game. Australia has 4 points they need to get back here. I think we're going to see the intensity really increasing for this last 5 minutes of the game from Australia.
As Robinson takes that up, pass missed, but good hustle there, and Mannion scores. And 54-49. Should also mention that Ryan Cowling is making his first appearance in the game for Great Britain as well, number 24. So that's Bat. Bat. Watch pass up, and Edmondson will get his hands on the ball before it crosses the line. It's 54-50 with 4:31 to go here in the fourth quarter. Australia, much more aggressive, is Batten on it there, but Robinson moves up the middle, bounces over, and he's going to score easily. 55-50. Now, as we approach the second half of this quarter, the 40-second clock for Great Britain, how will their approach be with the 5-point lead?
I don't think they're going to be too worried about the clock at all in this final quarter. They're not looking necessarily to play for that last goal. They're looking to get as many goals as quickly as they can because they've got that ground to make up. So they're going to be less fussed about playing that last goal.
I meant but for Great Britain, how in terms of consuming or killing the clock, how do you take more time off that shot clock? Is that an approach, or you just keep going and play your game?
Yeah, for sure. If GB wanted to, they could really run that clock out, use those full 40 seconds, give Australia less opportunities to have possession of the ball and less opportunity to make up that ground. But it looks like GB is not really too fussed about that right now. They're just playing their game, focusing on what they can do and not worried about running that clock out.
And we're in our opening game here, so I mean there are tiebreaker procedures. Maybe that's something that we can bring up now just for the fans to be aware of here. Is it by points? Is it if GB and Australia are tied at the end, it's because the winner get the advantage? How does that work?
You know, I actually am not 100% sure. For this tournament, they are playing with overtime. Typically, there's overtime in wheelchair rugby, and then you would just play another quarter at the end, and the winner at that point would be the winner of the game. But I'm actually not 100% sure if they're playing with overtime in this tournament or not. So we had a turnover there again. Now GB has a 6-point lead because Australia.
Yeah, well, 57-52 is Bat scored there. Hopefully we get an answer on that tiebreaking procedure throughout the tournament. But
we will report back on that one.
We will report back on that as Cowling passes it up. Here come GB, pass up to Robinson. Nice catch. He'll take that in. 3 minutes to go. 58-52, pardon me. And equipment adjustment for Great Britain there for Cowling. Australia with the inbound. Edmondson to Bat. Bat goes to his left.
See him faking it out there, pretending he's going to go left and then breaks right.
Nice.
Gives him room to use his speed and make his way down the court.
Takes it down. He's trying to get back to the middle again. Looking around. Does the dribble within the 10 seconds. Tries to go in. Good stop by Robinson to pass up, and Edmondson scores. 58-53. We've got a timeout.
So it looks like we've got our answer. They are playing with overtime here. So there'd be a standard 3-minute overtime period. Should there be a tie in a game, they'd play that 3 minutes and then see who took the lead.
Okay.
I think they called their second bench timeout here. So they were able to make another sub. I'm just looking to see.
Looks like it is Michael Ozan back on the court, number 6. As Robinson scores. 59-53, 2:25 to go. And Riley Bat spins the pass to go. Good job grabbing that by Justin Go, and gives it to Bat. Bat fends off 3 British defenders, takes it to the right, pass up. Nice catch there by Andrew Edmondson to score, and it's now 59-54, under 2 minutes to go. So does here as Ryan Cowling takes it. Robinson. Looks like, is that a foul?
Yeah, they called a reach on Riley Bat there, so he made contact with the person, not the ball. So he's going to sit in that penalty box until GB scores their next goal.
As GB takes it up, that's Stuart Robinson. Bounces over.
They're not in any rush to score now. They are feeling pretty confident with that 5-point lead, I would say. They're allowing their defense to set up on Riley Bat over in the box there, trying to force him to take the inbound. Successfully did that. So now they've got Riley's speed off of the court as he's going to have to be the inbounder, which is an advantage for GB.
60-54, minute 34 to go. Bat inbounds. Nice interception by Robinson, and now 7-point. And GB very aggressive here in the final minute 28. And Australia calls their timeout.
Another substitution happening for Australia here with this final minute and a half. They're going to pull Riley Bat off for the first time in this game.
And as is Michael Ozan coming off. Bat had a strong game, obviously.
At this point, I think they're thinking Riley's got a lot of games ahead of him. They might as well give him a bit of a break. They know that they're not going to be able to pull back this win in the final minute and a half here. So
Australia Warren to Edmondson. So to the right, dribbles over the line. Edmondson watched by Mannion. Warren went around, does the dribble within the 10 seconds. 5 seconds to go on the shot clock, and unfortunately Edmondson couldn't hang on to that.
So again, once they take Riley Bat off that court, they've lost a little bit of their speed. It's the first time we're seeing that 40-second clock just about running out, right? And so they made that pass that was a little bit tricky to make, and that was really just because of the pressure of that shot clock running out that pass was made. I'm sure they wouldn't have had they had more time.
Stuart Robinson, who we can talk to you about as much in this game, but he had a really strong game and played the entire game here unless they take him off in the final 30 seconds. Takes it in. He's just taking a jaunt around the Olympic Oval here.
Let's see if he calls that timeout as the shot clock runs out. They maybe want that last goal, want the satisfaction of scoring the last one.
There we go, gets the timeout, 15 seconds to go. So Great Britain will play again at 5:30 against France. Australia will play against Canada. Open to 1-0. And as we get our final 4 seconds here, Great Britain trying to get another goal in, turnover, and Great Britain with the 61-54 win over Australia. Great Britain begins 1-0, Australia 0-1. As that wraps up our first game. Jess, any final thoughts or anything, any takeaways that we can take away from this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of went as expected. It was a close game right till that final quarter. We saw GB pull out the win. They are the higher ranked team, 3rd in the world right now, whereas Australia is 4th. So kind of as expected, but a great play from both sides, and excited to see how these two teams carry on throughout this tournament.
Yes, it's going to be very exciting here. We lots of action here throughout the day, so stick with us here as we get our handshakes in. And Jess, it was great to do our first game, and thanks for your patience with me in our opening game, and we will be back again at 1:30 here, Canada playing France.
And I will be back with that game. I think it's me and Adam Frost back on the webcasting, so
and
looking forward to that.
back at 5:30 with Jack with France and Great Britain. So looking forward to that as well. One more thanks to our sponsors: Government of Canada, Government of BC, Richmond Sport Housing, Richmond Olympic Oval, Vesco Wheelchairs, Moulton, Local 258 of IBEW, Sheraton Vancouver Airport, Hilton Vancouver Airport, Marriott Vancouver Airport, World Wheelchair Rugby, as well as Wheelchairs, BC Wheelchair Sports, and Wheelchair Rugby Canada. My name is Kevin Olin with Jess Kruger. Thank you for watching. We'll talk to you very soon.
Test 1 2 test. I can hear barely. Test 1 2 test. Test 1 2.
Is there any way you can turn the output down, or if it's too hard, I can do something?
Let's see here. Which output are you on?
We can just, you know what? Don't even worry about it. We'll just turn it down, way down on ours.
See which output it is?
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Check. Yeah. Good?
Yeah. So that's their other mic.
Nous allons commencer nos cérémonies bientôt. Si vous pouvez vous rassembler sur le terrain 2. We're going to start our ceremonies soon. Please gather on court 2.